guys, I hope y'all are well. I hope y'all are great. Welcome back to the MSG podcast. If you are new here, kindly don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. Alright, today I'll be discussing the recent developments on the granting of KT Molefe bail, worth 400,000 rand. So recently in the Madlanga Commission, Witness A had ventilated that intelligence is showing that he might have got a get out of jail free card and bribed officials within the judicial system. These are the allegations that are part of Witness A's testimony. So to put things in perspective, I have this news article from Eyewitness News. Basically, there are claims that Molefe paid 2.5 million bribe to secure bail. These claims are surfacing in the Madlanga Commission. The damning allegations were made by a Gauteng detective testifying on Tuesday afternoon before the Madlanga Commission. This must be Witness A. So the multi-millionaire murder accused KT Molefe is alleged to have paid a bribe of 2.5 million to individuals handling his case in order to be granted bail. The damning allegations were made by a Gauteng detective testifying on Tuesday afternoon before the Madlanga Commission. Witness A is part of the investigating team that arrested Molefe in relation to the murder of the Vrenegen engineer Arman Swart, who was killed last year in April. Molefe was later linked to the murder of DJ Somebody and Windows. Alright, so the serious allegations against the judiciary were made by Witness A, who claims that 2.5 million was paid by Molefe to be granted bail. Molefe was previously denied bail in the Alexandra Magistrate Court but appealed the decision. Alright, during the Alexandra Magistrate Court, guys, I just want you to look at the few arguments that the judge did,
Conspiracy to commit murder in respect of Sigusisi Mukwena, murder in respect of Sigusisi Mukwena, conspiracy to commit murder in respect of Sabile Sean Mieza, conspiracy to commit murder in respect of Hector Gotelezi or DJ Ventos, murder in respect of the same person. The applicant on appeal was granted bail by the High Court on the first matter currently pending in the High Court. It is alleged that all these killings were contract killings. The allegation is that it involves a similar modus operandi. The victims were killed in assassination style with AK-47 assault rifles with the clear motive of elimination. These killings also involved the actual contact killers, accused 1, 2, and 3, where the case against them appears to be extremely strong at this stage. It also involves a mastermind and or middleman, the one orchestrating the hits. It appears that the applicant, according to the state, falls in the last category. Now here it is alleged that the victims were involved in a drug trade, applicant's company's accounts. Thus, in the absence of an explanation, strongly suggests unidentified sources of income with the risks that goes together with that. The applicant avers that the state's case against him is extremely weak and circumstantial by nature. It is true that the evidence against the applicant, because of his role in the killings, will be distant, as he was not physically present during the hits. The absence of direct evidence, however, does not mean that an inference of guilt can't be deducted. The other accused, for instance, are not before court, and only the trial court will have the benefit to rule on the evidence in its totality. The applicant alleges that he is neither K nor Pafa. The state adduced evidence based on cell phone records, WhatsApps and calls made from number one, especially that the applicant is both K and Pafa. It is quite apparent that the gunmen were awaiting payment from the applicant, according to this, for these hits performed. It is significant that accused 1 and 2's phones were picked up at the cell phone tower near the applicants on the very same 24th day of November. On this day, accused number 1 also deposited 100,000 rand cash into his account, with number 2 and 3 also depositing cash into their respective bank accounts. Now, what is extremely relevant here is number 1's address is in Roodepoort, and that of number 2 in Atteridgeville, Pretoria. That's a relatively far cry from Sandton, where the accused lives. The cell phone records after these so-called hits between the respective accused are indeed very interesting. Accused 1 frantically trying to reach the applicant moments after the Sandton hit on DJ Somebody. He made no less than 8 calls to the applicant. Accused 1 also contacted the applicant after the killing of yet another DJ, the Orlando matter. In all these cases, cash deposits follows. The state alleges that the state witnesses fear for their lives after his initial release on bail. The applicant made several assurances regarding number 1's bail application. Now, on the 15th of July 2024, he sent a message to accused number 1's wife saying, "Appearance for bail application today. Next court appearance, bail will be granted for him." On the 2nd day of August 2024, the applicant sent a WhatsApp message, "Bail granted," to which the friend replied, "Good work, my brother." The applicant responded, "This is evidence of what teamwork can achieve, my brother." Now, although bail was granted in High Court regarding the Swart case, this court is of the respectful opinion that a lot has changed since then. The current counts are indeed of a very serious nature and can definitely increase the risk to abscond. Very importantly, the evidential link between the 4 accused persons in this case appears to have increased. There are a number of very concerning aspects, not only linking the applicant to the crimes, but also regarding his circle of influence and capabilities. His application for bail is accordingly refused.
It's quite crazy.
What is the date? Was it 26 August?
No, it was 18th of September. 18th September.
18 September,
18 September.
for the other accused.
For the other accused.
Mr. Molefe, 18 September, it's a provisional date for the indictment, and you will be kept in custody. Good, you can stand down.
Yeah, so rightfully so, this judge from the this magistrate court, this judge from the magistrate court in Alexandra, has had denied Katiso bail, rightfully so, given the evidence. But now, continuing with the story, the Joburg High Court overturned the initial ruling and granted Molefe bail of 400,000 2 weeks ago. Remember, guys, this guy is also on bail on another case for 100,000 rand. I think it's also related to murder and stuff like that, you know. But he's still given bail for the second time for 400,000 rand. So this followed Judge Brad Wanless finding that the state's decision of refusing Molefe bail was unsubstantiated. You know, guys, I just want you to look at this clown of a judge, and I think he's a clown because, like, how can he say the claims are unsubstantiated when we've got payments, we've got communications, we've got like tower cells, linking him to the Vrenagen murder. We also got his vehicles scouting there. One was his Vianos. How could this magistrate just claim that they are unsubstantiated? This shows a clear foul play. And yeah, I just want to continue with the story. Before that, I just want you to hear this judge's judgment, the way it was so biased.
Paragraph 90 of the judgment. In the present matter, despite the serious nature of the alleged offences, there is no objective evidence before this court to show that, should the appellant be granted bail, this would be in conflict with the provisions of the Act, as set out above. Footnote 29, paragraphs in square brackets 46 to TO in square brackets 71 ibid. Paragraph 91 of the judgment. Regarding the judgment of the lower court, this court accepts the submissions made on behalf of the appellant in respect of the misdirect follows. This court grants the following order, below that, numbered paragraphs. Numbered paragraph 1. The order granted in the Regional Court of Gauteng, open brackets, held at Alexandra, close brackets, under case number, capital letters RC 555/2025, whereby the appellant apostrophe appellant's application for bail was dismissed, is set aside and is substituted with this order, full stop. Numbered paragraph 2. The appellant is granted bail in the amount of 400,000 rand, full stop. This amount is in addition to the bail granted by the High Court of South Africa, Gauteng Division, in brackets Pretoria, under case number capital letter A 112/2025 in the sum of 100,000 rand, full stop.
Yeah, guys, basically, as you heard the poor judge basically saying that the state's case is based on speculation, but the data is saying otherwise. Anyway, let's continue with the article. Witness A claims they knew this decision was forthcoming. Prior to this bail, we had already received information from informers and sources to say Katiso Molefe will get bail. The witness claimed, adding that Molefe bribed officials with millions to secure his release. This was the figure that was given to us. He is going to pay 2.5 million for him to be granted bail, witness A said. The witness did not, however, provide any evidence to corroborate the damning allegations made against the judiciary. All right, guys. So yeah, basically, these are the allegations that are made by witness A. From the Madlanga Commission, who's obviously from organized crime. He's a detective, and they are the ones who were responsible for arresting Katiso Molefe last year on the 6th of December 2024. Right? So I just want to put things into perspective to show you guys that this allegation might actually be true if, like, you look at how things are so mysteriously handled. They are just like too much things that are too suspicious. For instance, this guy, we know that Katiso Molefe was released on bail. The alleged crime boss was granted 100,000 bail in June in the Pretoria High Court after his initial application was denied by the Vereeniging Magistrate Court. Molefe was arrested for the murder of Armand Swart, a Vereeniging engineer who was killed in a case of mistaken identity. So Judge Ledwaba is denying that he got any monies from this. At this point, we don't really have evidence of the monies, and we are basing this solely on what witness A has gave us, basically the amount of evidence that connects the dots. So I want us to look at that, and at the same time, we'll be able to see that there might be foul play on this bail application for Katiso Molefe that was granted. So let's go back to December 6th, when Katiso Molefe was arrested, right? He got arrested for the murder of Armand Swart, and basically witness A was accompanied by some members from the TRT, and I think also there were members from the political killings task team who were also there. So before they got there, they actually scouted. There were people who were scouting outside the house. So apparently Katiso Molefe panicked, and called one of his hitters, we could call him that, or his security guard, because the guy didn't confirm that he was Katiso Molefe's security guard. He just said Katiso Molefe told him to come because there's a suspicious vehicle outside. He doesn't know what's going on, whether maybe somebody wants to off him or something. So it could be anything, especially when you know that you are a criminal, you see. So this guy came, he had a rifle on him. He had a rifle with 3 extra magazines, so he had 3 fully loaded magazines, and the one that is in the rifle. So basically he had like 4 magazines and a pistol. Katiso Molefe was also having a pistol on him, so he was clearly paranoid, thinking that, oh, somebody's coming for me, I might die. So these guys now, they come storming, because there was a rush basically to go and arrest Katiso Molefe, based on the fact that the Hawks or some people in the SEPs might try to stop the investigation and sabotage it or something like that. So they had to move quickly to arrest him, because allegedly again, there was some talks that if Katiso Molefe didn't get bail, he would try to bribe the investigators and the NPA, and I mean the prosecutors, sorry, and the judge. Basically, that's where he started talking about these envelopes that were there when he went to speak with the head of organized crime in Gauteng. Basically this general, who's the head of organized crime, literally told these detectives that, there are bribes that there's an envelope, guys. There's 3 envelopes. It's for the investigators, the prosecutor, and the magistrate. You see, so when that happens now, he's given them an option to say, are you willing to do that, or are you gonna continue with the investigation? Either way, I just want to tell you guys that I don't want to do anything with this because it's linked to tenders. It's very dangerous, but he's the head of organized crime that time. He's telling his junior officers that this guy is a danger.
His government and the cabinet on finding the solution quick on this matter is a matter for government now. I hear that Judge Meyer was talking about requesting Judge Ledwaba to go and stay home because of 2.5 million accusation of bribe from Molefe. This is a judge now. I'm not talking about magistrate or prosecutor. Your chief of prosecution in Gauteng is home, is to be investigated. Aibo. So I think somebody somewhere must find a solution, and that solution must be quick. Otherwise, South Africans are going to run helter-skelter.
I agree.
Yeah, guys. So basically, when KT Molefe was arrested, what happened is that the members went to KT Molefe's house. Remember, there was people who were scouting there, and when they realized that there was, I think, a Metro Police cop, if I'm not mistaken, who was there, who came and approached these scouters. Now these are the scouters for the police, for the investigators. They were basically keeping a close eye on KT Molefe's movements, knowing that his arrest was imminent, So this JMPD member comes there and he starts asking these guys, what are they doing there? Those sorts of things. He wanted them to identify themselves, I think, somewhere along those lines, and ask them what they were doing here, So KT Molefe, basically, he called 2 people when he realized that there was a car outside his place, So when he saw that there was a car, he basically called this JMPD, who went and investigated these people, tried to figure out who are they, and then the henchman who also came to his aid, to be around him so that he can feel safe at least, So when that happened, it initiated something whereby the members now, because those guys who were scouting called the members, the investigators, basically, to say that, hey, there's someone asking us questions here and he seems like a cop or something, and then they realize, oops, our operation is about to blow before it even starts, the operation leading to his arrest, So when they figured that out, they had to act quickly, and then they came, to storm KT Molefe's place, That's where I think they found Kenny Kunene, with the alleged journalist or something, So, yeah, we are living, these parties are actually gangster parties, guys. Yeah. So, with that said, now they come in and then they tell them to open the gate, and they basically telling this henchman and Katiso to open the gate. There was some form of resistance, prior to them opening the gate, So what happened is that those guys, KT Molefe and his henchmen, they started asking the police, who are you guys, because I think some members were just wearing, how the political killing stars team wears, and TRT, basically sometimes they have this unique kind of look, even though you can see these are police officers, because if they are wearing bulletproofs, then you will definitely see, So then upon realizing that it's the cops. Katiso opened the gate, So remember, they don't know who they are actually coming to arrest. They just know it's Katiso Molefe that they are looking for. They don't know his face, basically, his appearance, And they started asking the henchmen, who are you? Then, okay, firstly, they had to apprehend them. They had to apprehend them and disarm them, the firearms that they had, because they were heavily armed. As I said, that the henchman had a rifle and he had a pistol. Katiso also had a pistol on him, so they had to do something, to ensure that the situation remains calm. There's no altercation, so when that happened, they surrendered. Then they started asking them questions. Who are you? Then that henchman started speaking, okay, I'm this and this. I'm here because Katiso Molefe called me. He said there's some people outside, so he doesn't know what's going on. I should come by. So I came to his aid. All right, who's this? That's Katiso Molefe. All right. Then they started arresting him, saying that you're under arrest. They read him his rights. I think he said he pulled out a warrant of arrest, and then he basically showed him. Then Katiso Molefe asked him a question, why are you arresting me for the murder of Armand Swart when I was not there? But that's not the point. The point is you orchestrated a murder, whether you were there or not, it's pointless, you see, because if these allegations are true and the evidence is proven, which is I don't know what we are looking for, because the data speaks for itself, so that's how he responded. And then a couple of minutes, and then allegedly there was a helicopter that came by while they were searching the house, taking documents. They even got this other document for SK Group, which is the company that got that was buying these springs from QTech to sell them to Transnet with inflated prices. So then Katiso told them, no, I have nothing to do with that office, that room that looked like an office, I have nothing to do with it. My son is the one who's running that thing. You see, he basically confirmed, to say that his son is involved, basically, because now we realize the reasons behind why Armand Swart had to be eliminated, Yeah. So, and then this helicopter is hovering out, then the detective is called. Members of the Hawks, they get there, and they start, pressuring them, asking them, what are you doing here? What kind of operation is this? What you guys are doing here? Let's see information. They just like trying to distract them to what they're doing, And at that point, when this guy who was from the Hawks, basically the person who actually dispatched their team, because we know maybe the instruction might have came from General Libya, but the person who was in control of their team was the one who kept on insisting, that they leave that guy alone. They stop what they're doing right now, you see. So when that happened, one of the members from the Hawks, this team that just arrived to disturb this, to interfere in this operation, he said that, why don't you open a case and arrest this person who's insisting that you stop, while you are clearly outlining the facts that this is a police operation, it's a legitimate police operation, but he keeps on going. Why don't you open a case for him for interference and trying to obstruct justice, basically, And then, that was the whole deed behind the arrest, And, even Kenny Kunene, I think he was there, but he probably left when he saw these guys coming in or something, you know. But I didn't hear witness A actually speak about it, but probably he spoke about it on the second encounter, probably, I don't know. But yeah, I might have got it mixed up. But yeah, that's what happened, you know. This is not speculation. This is something that is real, that is happening. And these judges trying to make us believe that is speculation. It's complete BS, you know. So I want to do that in a quick way, you know. So we are here now. KT Molefe is being arrested. Okay, fine. He goes to jail. So with days leading to the murder of Armand Swart. Now, this is in April 2024, before Katiso got arrested, and even these guys, you know. So days leading to that, on the 12th of April, there was a vehicle that came to basically before they even started going there. Remember, this is related to a Transnet tender. So KT Molefe allegedly is the one who gave SK, according to witness B's testimony, and I'm still gonna cover witness B though in great length, you know. So allegedly this guy KT Molefe, who's the nephew of KT Molefe, is the one who released this tender, and he has been releasing these corrupt tenders. It's a lot of them, you see. So it's not only this one. So the money, the beneficiary, the sole beneficiary of that 1.2 million was transferred straight into the bank account of Thapelo Molefe, which is now the son of Katiso Molefe. Remember, guys, on my previous videos, I told you these guys were involved, you know, and the nephew is currently on the run, you know, probably even the son. That's why I said they probably somewhere in Africa or Europe, or they already crossed the Mediterranean Sea into Europe, or somewhere in Dubai or wherever, you know. So that's how now an investigation was triggered because of that tender. So they were basically inflating prices, you know, for these springs that they were selling. You know, they were inflating prices. For example, one spring could be 4 rand or 6 rand, and they selling it 151 rand to Transnet. So they were basically a middleman between Transnet and QTech, where Armand Swart actually worked. So they didn't really know who was the whistleblower. Now, this is where they fuck up, guys. I don't want to say that, but this is where their whole plan collapses. Basically, this is where it collapses, because now they got everything wrong. All right, Katiso Molefe is now involved because he's interested his sons might get in trouble for this tender, right? So what they do is that they tell Katiso Molefe tells his henchman, you know, Puletau, to say that you know what, my guy, here's the number, you know, of the person that we believe that is the whistleblower. And I think he gave him also the names, you know.
We steal the vehicle, which is the Mercedes-Benz Viano, that was later linked to Tao during arrest, arriving at the house of Katiso Molefe on the 12th of April 2024, 12:16 minutes.
And then if we go to the next one, it's 33.2. You speak about the 13th of April 2024.
Yes, on this one, the 13th of April 2024, Tao then received a message from Molefe with the name and cell phone number of the person who was identified as an employee for the company called QTech in Vereeniging.
When you say
Sorry, Ms. A. When you say that, or when you say with the name and cell phone number of someone, what do you mean? Do you mean this message mentioned his cell phone number and person?
I mean, this message was giving the name and the cell phone number of this person who is identified as an employee at QTech. But now, the details of such are not going to be disclosed.
And then Pule now takes this thing and gives it to his girlfriend, and say, can you please make a background check on this person and tell me his address, his whatever car he's linked to. Obviously they wanted the number plates so that they can track his car, so that they can do a drive-by on him. Basically there was the whole plan around it. So when they realized that, okay, Pule comes back to Katiso to confirm, are you talking about QTech company? Then he's like, yes, I'm talking about that. Then a Viano this is like the 12th of April. That Viano is seen in Vryningen, It's seen there scouting, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's doing all those things and it's caught on camera, you see. And this Viano belongs to KT Molefe. That's where like the cracks of the case now comes in, the undeniable facts, you see. So they scout and then they come back again with a Mercedes. Now this Mercedes was being driven by this other guy. I forgot the name of him, but this guy was also part of the plot, but as a scouter probably, so police couldn't really nail him, because they didn't really have much evidence. It's only about the car, you see. So yeah, they see that Mercedes-Benz scouting, as we can see here on the pictures, guys, and then on the 16th they come back and scout again, you see. Now this is one day before the murder, you see, before the crime scene. So now on the 17th, Pule pulls up with a Grand i20, he pulls up. Basically there's Arman Swat there. I think they had already figured out the car, of Arman Swat, which was a case of a mistaken identity, because it was not him who they were actually looking for. It's just their poor intelligence that got them into this mess, because they were doing things not thinking and rushing them through. That's why they got the wrong person. That's like my personal opinion. They just rushed this thing. So Puletao, they come. Arman Swat is shot 23 times with an AK rifle, AK-47 rifle. He dies on the spot, and the cartridges now that they were found with, I think they shot him in the car and the cartridges just fell on the car, in the car. I don't think someone picked them up. I don't think so. They probably fell in the car. These guys, remember, Pule has training, has police training, so he basically knows what he's doing when it comes to firearms. He's not an amateur. So basically the deed is done. Now this Grand i20, it's seen, when the deed happens, they can see it and it moves as it moves. Now that those companies there, I'm quite sure they have private security there, so this car was basically traced, and it was traced to where? To Bramley, that unknown location that he didn't want to tell us, where Pule Tao's friend, stays, basically his house, So when they get there, before they know it, TRT storms the place. They storm the place. According to witness A, it was TRT, those members who got there, and arrested them, And then they got a call from their reporting manager, basically the person that they report to say, please, can you go and attend this crime scene? They are now talking about the crime scene of Armand Swart, basically in Vereeniging, you know. While TRT, I think this thing happened in a span of 3 days. So they killed Armand Swart on the 17th, and like 3 days later or 4 days later, TRT arrested them in Bribery because of the footages and the car. The car was traced, you know what I mean? So these guys, they think that they are masterminds, but they are not really. Look how, like, this is like a stupid thing, because like, why didn't you get rid of the car? You know, that shows that these hitmen, they are not really paid much, because if he was a real hitter, he was gonna burn that car, knowing very well, or he raked in millions for executing that person. But they probably gave him what, 50,000, 100,000, who knows, you know. So they got arrested. Here are the cartridges, here are the firearms, you know, now the AK that is linked to DJ Somebody's murder, Armand Swart, you know, and DJ Vintos, and all those 18 more cases. The pistols, though, it seems like the pistols that were found on them, both of them, two of those pistols, those pistols, it seems like they match with the Babita murder, you know. Yeah, so they went ahead and did ballistic testings, whereby in Pretoria, we know in Pretoria, man, they do shenanigans there, man. You know, a lot of dark things are coming out from there, you know. So they do ballistic testing, but the forensic guys decides to omit the very important part that this whole report, you know, was about. You know, they were trying to link whether these cartridges are the ones, is the one that shot Armand Swart, basically, you know. So he decides to omit that. Then they had to strategize and go to KZN. They asked help from their superiors. I think also General Kumalo from GCI Ops got involved. You know, that's where he got involved with his members from crime intelligence in trying to support these investigators who were now surrounded by wolves, basically. You know, their life were in danger. It was constantly in danger, because now the very same colleagues that they are working with are working against them to please the crime kingpin, you know. So yeah, and then when they get those ballistics, I think they did confirm that indeed there's a positive link for the cartridges and the firearms, you know, that were used to the murder of Armand Swart. But you know, one thing that disappointed me is that they left those cartridges, you know, that crucial piece of evidence, they left it with that forensic guy in Pretoria who omitted the most important information in the whole report. Now, I think that was a mistake, you know, in their part. I think they were also moving with speed, because they were under pressure and not trying to die, you see. So that's what basically we have, you know. And I would like to basically stop this this episode here. I don't want to elaborate further. I will go into witness B now, where we actually link KT Molefe to the crime scene. But my point here is being that there is a lot of evidence, overwhelming evidence, that shows clearly the motives around KT Molefe and his henchmen, you know, the reasons why they had to kill Armand Swart. So how the hell was he denied bail on the DJ Somebody murder case, you know, but he was granted bail of 100,000 rand, you know, on another case, you see, and then he later gets 400,000 bail on another murder case. So you can clearly see that these judges are not making sound, prudent decisions, you know, judgments that are actually for the state, actually for the law. You see, they are making judgments that are for these crime kingpins, and his Ket Matlala, I heard he's also trying to get bail. So that's the reason behind this whole thing, that I believe that this might be true, because remember the chain of events that I had just articulated to you guys about KT Molefe's conditions, whereby he had three things were gonna happen. He's gonna bribe the prosecutor, the judge, and the and the magistrate, to get bail. And he got bail. Pudetao was the same thing. There were three conditions. It's either he's gonna get bail or he's gonna get extracted, like snatched on a high level operation, snatched from the cops. That's point number 2. Number 3, he was going to kill, basically, the investigators or the prosecutors in this case. And Pudetao in the end got bail of 10,000 rand for the Armand Swart murder. So if you connect the dots, you can clearly see that the judiciary on this case, it's working against the police. They got all the evidence, you see, but still it's not enough somehow. If this was not a high level criminal like KT Molefe, I'm telling you, he would have been sentenced a long time ago or denied bail. They would deny him bail and then move on and sentence him, because the evidence is clear. Everything, the guns, the motor vehicles that were used, the communication, the payments, so it shows that there is no honor amongst thieves, because now these judges are acting like thieves. If these allegations are true, it means that they are now depriving the society and the family members of Armand Swart a swift legal justice system that can actually give them justice, basically. So they are trying to let the criminals win. That's how I see it, guys. Alright, guys, let me know what you think on the comment sections. I tried to cover most of what Witness A has unraveled, the important parts that shows us clearly that there's a lot of corruption in the judiciary, there's a lot of corruption in the police, and political interference. Basically the three things that the General Mkhwanazi had stated in his July 6 briefing. And since then, South Africa has been a movie, guys. You see? So let me know what you think on the comment section, and I will be back with another chilling episode that will be unpacking Witness B's testimony. I think she's fire, because she is the sole reason why we could link KT Molefe, Thapelo Molefe, and Lucky Molefe, according to her evidence. And when I heard her voice, I don't want to lie, she reminded me of those young 3 constables from crime intelligence, the ones that mysteriously got dumped and killed and dumped in the Henops River, basically. Boipilo, and that guy Linda, and who else? Constable Bias, those. She basically reminds me of that, because you could feel it in her voice that she's in a state of confusion because of the fact that his colleagues are working against them, on these investigations, so that the crime kingpins can get off the hook, basically. So guys, I'll be back with Witness B, and until then, goodbye.
We don't have a state, we don't have a government. We are run by cartels and thugs.